Translations of the quadratic parent function. A parent function is the most basic function of a particular type. We've been talking about quadratic functions. The parent function, let me remind you, of a quadratic function is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. The axis of symmetry is a line that passes through the vertex, dividing the parabola into two symmetrical halves. And a translation is a transformation that moves each point of a figure the same distance and in the same direction. So the first thing we're going to do is talk about describing transformations. It says for each quadratic function, describe the transformation of its graph from the graph of the parent function, f of x equals x squared. So here are some rules for transformations. If it's adding, if there's just addition involved without parentheses, it is moving up. Subtraction moves down. If it's in parentheses, it's actually, it does the opposite of what it looks like. So you would think that a plus sign would go to the right, but it actually goes to the left. And so that means in parentheses, a negative sign would go to the right. So this is plus 7, so this one's moving up 7. Down 3/5, because of the negative, it's down. This is in parentheses, so if it's a plus in parentheses, this is going to go to the left 4. And this is in parentheses, but it's a negative, so it's going to go to the right 1/2. Okay, name the vertex from the equations. So it's the opposite of what's with x and then the constant. If there's no parentheses, it's assumed that you have a 0 with the x. So this vertex is 0, 8. The constant's the number at the end. This is 0, -8 for your vertex. Okay, this is the opposite of what's with x. Now there is no number at the end. Okay, so this vertex is the opposite of positive 8 is -8 with 0. And this one, the opposite of -8 is positive 8. And again, there's no number at the end, so it's a 0. So those are the vertex of each one of those equations. Identify the range and axis of symmetry of the following functions. Okay. Just a second. Okay, so first of all, the vertex of this equation is 0, -3. So the range is the y value. This parabola, if it's positive, it opens up. If it's the x, the leading coefficient. If it's negative, it opens down. So this is a positive x squared, so it's going up. So it's going to have the y value, or the range, is going to be greater than or equal. If it opens down, it's going to be less than or equal. So the range of this is y, it's opening up, so greater than or equal to the y value, -3. The axis of symmetry is the x value of your vertex, so x equals 0. So this one, the next one, the vertex is opposite of -11 is positive 11, because it's in parentheses, you should take the opposite, and the constant is 0. So there, the leading coefficient is positive, so again, it's opening up, so it's going to be y is greater than or equal to the y value, which is 0. The axis of symmetry is the x value of your vertex. Writing the quadratic equation, the vertex of the graph is the turning point, so that's 0, -2. So 0 for x, so that means you don't have anything in your x, or with your x squared term, it's just x squared. And then the -2, you just put that down. So that's the equation for this graph. Now the equation for this word problem. The quadratic function whose graph is translated 10 units to the left. Okay, if you're talking left or right, it's going to be in parentheses. If it's left, you have to put a plus sign. Okay, so 10 units to the left from the graph of the parent function, f of x equals x squared. So we've got y equals x plus 10, and then you're going to square it because this is like x squared, and then it doesn't say that it's moving up or down, so you don't have a constant at the end. So this is the answer to that one. Okay, looking at a table, you look for the symmetry in the y value. So notice how above 0 and 1/2 you have positive 1.5. 1.5 and 1.5 on either side. That means this is your vertex. It's the turning point. So again, x is 0, so you just have y equals x squared. And then the y value of the vertex is a positive 0.5, and that's the equation for that one.